All right. I am here with Aubrey Ballinger of Star One. Hey, Aubrey.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So I know it has now been oh man, when did we do that video about hiring a transaction coordinator?
I feel like, was it in the fall or the spring?
Has it been almost a year? I don't
No,
know.
had to be fall. It had to be
Yeah,
fall.
I
I
was
don't think
thinking
it
like
was that
6 months.
long. Yeah.
So just to give everybody a little background, you were struggling with should you hire a transaction coordinator or an assistant or just keep doing it all by yourself, and that's something that a lot of agents struggle with once they get up to doing like over 30 deals, and so we had been talking about it for a long time.
A long time.
And you
I couldn't
finally
quite make
hired
that
one.
move.
What's that?
I couldn't quite make that jump.
I know. You like most people, you're not unusual. But I wanted to circle back with you and see now that it's been like 6 months or so,
Mhm.
what lessons have you learned? Um, maybe what, yeah, just all
Okay.
that.
Um, well, the overarching theme is I can't believe I didn't do it sooner.
Oh my
You might have been right. There might have been a few I told you so's.
a few.
But yes, so that is the overarching theme of that. A few things that I learned is I did start out with one transaction coordinator. She was great and super nice, but at that point, I didn't know what I didn't know,
Hmm.
or I didn't know what to ask for, or quite honestly, I really didn't have my whole processes in place
Hmm.
in a sense. And so, um, I didn't know what things to have her do, what things to not have her do, and we tried to talk through it. And honestly, like, I'm horrible at asking for help or feel like I'm asking too much of somebody in a sense. And so,
Well, and I think too, a lot of agents go through that and they also go through with, well, and it's almost like, is this appropriate to give up? Or should I be handling this?
correct, yes.
Yeah.
So I went through all of those things, but that was initially like jumping into. I think we talked about that into actually hiring one. But what I learned was I had heard of a few different other transaction coordinators. And so I went out and interviewed another one.
Mhm.
And this time I was a little bit more confident, like asking questions
Mhm.
and knowing what more of things that I was hoping to look for. And honestly, I told her, I said, I don't know what I don't know. I need help with somebody telling me that. And
Right.
it's somebody who does it for multiple agents. She has a company with it, and she has her processes in place. And
Okay.
so that was a little bit more comforting to me, because what she was doing is what I had in mind of what I was wanting to accomplish, and it just kind of meshed very good that way.
I think there's like a big takeaway here, and it's almost like the same takeaway for like first time home buyers, right? So like first time home buyers are like think they're looking for their forever home, but
Hmm.
we know as agents that they're going to live there for like 5 to 7 years, and like that's it. And their needs now are not going to be the same, and they are in 5 to 7 years. And so the
Right.
same thing happened. It sounds like with you, it's like
Mhm.
you knew you finally realized that there's a benefit here, but you
Yes.
don't really know what exactly it is, but in those few months you like learned so much.
Correct. Yeah, it was just like it was that taking the initial first step and that first leap, and then like the fears, I guess, went away, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And
Yeah.
then it just started rolling, and I had that initial stress off of my mind, and it just started rolling.
Now let me ask you, do your clients um do they have any pushback about talking with somebody else?
No, they haven't at
Right.
all. I know. They're like, "Oh, that's great." And how I explain it is like, I'm not ashamed to say I hate paperwork.
Yeah.
And I tell my clients that I'm like, I don't want to be bogged down with all of this stuff that takes me away from being able to talk to you and to communicate with you
Hmm.
and to have a clearer mind for negotiations, and stuff like that. So they're
Right.
perfectly okay with it. The transaction coordinator emails them kind of more so after inspections.
Okay.
But she'll send them the initial contract after everything's been signed. She takes care of talking to the lender, talking to the title company,
Right.
talking to the other agent, and all of those steps. If you think about how much time it takes you, to just do that. And I'm
That's
like,
so much time. So like, what are you doing with your time?
how many more phone calls am I able to make now?
You knew exactly what I was going to ask you.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like, I even have more time to like, I joke like my laundry's getting done.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
you don't have to wear dirty clothes, Aubrey.
no, and then actually like other people have been coming to me asking about it now. And they're
Nice.
like, well, I heard that you did this. I'm like, yeah. And I tell them my story about how it's hard to do it. And I know even you and I were talking at one point, I was like, well, maybe only do it for a certain dollar amount. And then I was
Right.
like, no, we're just
Everything.
going to do it. Cause then I did it
Yes.
one time and I was like, what was I thinking?
Exactly. It's like the worst. You can never go back to it.
No, I
I
can't.
remember see, and I think it's important to note here that like, okay, so yours, the person that you work with takes over kind of after inspections. The one that I work with, she does the listing, so they meet her then, and then she takes over like once we're like under contract. Like she just takes
Yeah.
over from there. So everything can be negotiable.
Right. No, I don't mean, so she does take care of listings and everything else. I was
Okay.
talking more from like the buyer side, like I'll send her the contract
Yeah.
initially, but then like more communications start
Got it.
once
After.
that.
Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, that makes sense, right? Because it's really kind of like all negotiations up until that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, she only takes over, she communicates with them a lot even before the inspections because I miss like half the paperwork. So she's
Yeah.
got to get it, you know? Like,
Right. And they do all of that. And I'm always, and she will even get in. I haven't given her access yet. That's the next step. But after this past week, I might do so, where she has access to my email.
nice.
And I
Perfect.
think I might take that next step.
Do it. Because she can always like sign her name, right? I mean, is that what she's doing? Going to send him from yours?
Yeah, or like if I miss an email or something, she can go in and find it.
Nice.
And she can just search for things. So yeah, and I actually have my name and her name on the bottom portion of the contract for the contact information.
Perfect. Wow, that's a good idea. I never did that. Look
So
at
yeah,
you. I like it.
so that way they email both. Hopefully, most of the time they do. Sometimes they don't,
I
but
mean, but it's okay. You know, that's just part of, I
right,
mean, that's just, they're missing details too. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
but I
exactly.
think the main thing is like just people have clearly noticed that in dealing with you, you're likely less stressed because a lot of times we don't realize that even though a task seems simple, if we hate doing it, it just like is exponentially like heavier and harder.
It's like always in the back of your mind,
Right.
and I feel like it just ruins your whole day when you're
It
like,
does in your
oh,
week
I
and then
have
your
to go do this.
month. And then it's like, oh,
Right. Yeah.
awesome. Well,
So
congratulations to you. It sounds like you're making a lot of strides in your empire that you're building.
I am. I'm getting more listings.
You're what?
I'm getting more listings because I'm making more
Yay!
phone calls.
Why do yeah, that's good. It's because you're spending your well, and that's the other key component. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, if you're going to free up your time, what are you going to do? And for you, it was to free up your time to generate more leads because that was your goal. But for some people, it might be to free up time to spend it with their kids or
Yeah.
like to not do anything. You know, I mean, whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Right. And there is a balance. So it does create more time for leads. And then like every Thursday, I help my cousin watch her kids. So because she has to do Zoom calls all day long and I get to have fun playing with my little cousin.
Oh, that's so
So
fun. Cool. Well, Aubrey, if people do, you do business in Cincinnati. So if people have a referral or they have a question for you, what's the best way to get hold of you?
text me, call me 513-904-8526.
Beautiful.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for the update. I'm glad
Okay.
you're doing so well.
Thanks. Thanks for all your help.
Bye.
Bye.